that I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be, and now I think the answer is plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. Oh, pack your bags, cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous.
Well, hey there guys, welcome to the Animation Block Cartoon Podcast. This is episode 15, kind of the introduction to a somewhat kind of sort of season 2. We've been gone for quite a while, but we're finally returning. Now, I actually filmed half of this podcast yesterday. Unfortunately, there was a lot of Power Morphicon stuff going on, so I could not get this podcast out on the regular day of Saturday. Today is now Sunday, I believe August the 14th. 14th, not the 17th. 14th. So it's gonna be coming out today, but the next episode should be coming out next Saturday. I don't know exactly. Is that the 20th? That's the 20th. So look for that next Saturday. They're regularly gonna be on Saturdays. Just, again, a lot of big stuff happening yesterday. Didn't have a lot of time. Just didn't work out. But happening today, we're gonna have a great time. So again, I just want to create a more of a chill kind of environment here. We're just gonna be talking about everything cartoons, everything animation. We've got 3 big topics, and we've got 1 spotlight show, which we'll talk a bit more towards the end. But you know, I've kind of worked 3 different topics around 3 different animated shows that are kind of in the talks right now and in the news. So that's kind of how it's gonna work. So for those of you guys who are joining us for the first time, welcome, and for those of you guys who are returning, thanks for coming back. Like I said, we're gonna have a great time. I'm not gonna really do too many jump cuts, so it's gonna kind of just flow. Like, you might see me take a sip of water here and there. Just letting you guys know, it's gonna be more of a podcast-y format than some of my other regular videos on my other channel. So yeah, let's just jump right into this. We've got a couple great topics, like I said, and it's really, we're gonna kind of be focusing a lot on Cartoon Network, because I'm a pretty big fan of Cartoon Network. I know some of you guys are. I'm especially a big fan of what they used to do. A lot of their older cartoons. Yeah, that's my shit. You know, total drama. I love that. So, yeah. But today, our first topic is Mighty Magiswords, and that is something that you guys may or may not have heard of. Mighty Magiswords, it's a mini-episode series that debuted, I believe, last May of 2015 on the Cartoon Network Anything app, which is, I believe it's available on Android and the iTunes, and I'm sure a bunch of other platforms, but those are the 2 I'm pretty familiar with. So the app's actually kind of cool. I've checked it out. You know, they've got a lot of great gimmicks, and this is probably one of the better ones. It's a short mini-series type thing, and they're like 3-minute shorts, and they focus around 2 brother and sister twins named Vamber and I believe Proteus. I never really know how to pronounce his name. Believe it's Proteus or something like Proteus or something like that. But he's a lot of fun. They're both very funny. But I really fell in love with the animation back when it was debuted. I really thought it was something interesting. To me, it had a bit of that more mature look to it. You know, as mature as cartoons go, modern day cartoons, but it had a bit more of a mature look to me, and at the same time, it also it mixed in that nice kind of kid-friendly sense. The humor, I'm going to be honest, it said points. It got me laughing out loud, which happens rarely. That's part of the reason I'm talking about this. It intrigued me that much that, you know, it kind of sparked my interest. And especially about 2 months ago, almost exactly, on June 13th, it was announced that Cartoon Network had picked up the mini-series show for a full-length production type regular Cartoon Network animated show on their actual channel. I believe it's going to be in the UK as well, too. So that's probably going to actually kind of come out in the UK first. Now, I'm excited by this. They're probably going to be in that quarter-hour format, which is pretty much what Cartoon Network is known for. And to be honest, No, I'm down for that. These things work in 3 minutes. They've done stories that are just in 3 minutes. But the great thing is, I'm ready to kind of expand and explore a bit of a longer length story. Now, they released a bit of a look at maybe the first episode or something like that at Comic-Con, and the basic premise of they're the warriors for hire, and they basically, all of these two brothers and sisters, they go on these magical kind of quests because it's kind of an interesting period that they're in. It's kind of like a medieval era, but at the same time, there's robots, there's a burger place, so it's like a hybrid type of medieval kind of Renaissance period. But it works for me. I love knights. I love that kind of mythical stuff. The Hobbit movies, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter. I love that kind of mystical, magical knights, realms, all that. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Fantasy, I guess. So this definitely automatically kind of clicked with me. But the way the humor just it works for me, and I think it works for a lot of people because it was obviously popular enough that Cartoon Network had decided to pick this up for a full-length series. Now, the way I'm kind of seeing them kind of just finish this off, or at least kind of go more into depth in the show, is just them looking for new swords. And that's, like I said, that's the premise. They just hunt for Magiswords, and there's like a pencil Magisword, and there's a celery Magisword, and there's a chainsaw Magisword, and there's a boulder Magisword, and there's a dolphin Magisword, and there's like a ripping a hole in the space-time continuum sword. And they actually make for some pretty funny jokes, especially the first episode. I really recommend you check that out. I forget his name, but he's like this dragon guy. He's always asking to play hide and seek or tag. I mean, that type of humor clicks with me because, I think I find that stuff to be a bit funnier than, something more like Teen Titans Go at times. I do kind of like Teen Titans Go. I'm not hating on the show, but that's a bit more child-friendly humor to me. Mighty Magiswords has kind of worked in a bit more of a humor that I think more people can laugh at, if that kind of makes sense. But that's not even the main premise of this whole topic today. While I love the voice cast, believe the voice actress who plays Vamber, she does the voice for Daphne and Scooby-Doo's, very famous voice actress, kind of like Tara Strong. That, again, not what I'm talking about. I love the voice acting, but the main premise here is action cartoons. Now, that's something that has kind of been done away with, if you haven't noticed. You can look at something like, the Cartoon Network, and you can look at something like Disney XD, and maybe occasionally you'll see some fighting and action, but for the most part, action cartoons are done. I believe, like, the only big one on Disney XD is, like, Star Wars Rebels. That's probably, like, the only, and I guess, the Avengers Assemble and Ultimate Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy, but that's like Marvel's area, you know what I mean? It's not like a full-blown original action cartoon. Same thing goes with Star Wars. I love Star Wars Rebels, but it is a Star Wars more property that just happens to be on the Disney XD channel. The point here is that you don't see a lot of original cartoons nowadays that have the action cartoon element to them. Here, I'll pull up a bunch of great ones. Here we go. So Avatar: The Last Airbender, we all know that show was incredible. And then they did that Legend of Korra spinoff. Those shows worked well for a lot of people. It was kind of like anime, but at the same time, it wasn't. It was like something. It was something in itself, and it had this really amazing action cartoon vibe to it. A continuous story flow. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, again, a Star Wars property, but that was back in like 2007, 2008, before like all this other stuff happened. To me, that definitely got there, and of course, Rebels has kind of carried that over. One of the biggest ones, the original Teen Titans series, and that was probably the biggest disappointment with Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go is no longer an action cartoon. It's just a regular cartoon that happens to feature, like a stupid, goofy cartoon that happens to feature Teen Titans characters. So to me, I miss that. I miss how amazing the original Teen Titans show was. Dragon Ball Z. I've never been a huge fan, and I know there's a big fan base. I just have never been able to get into Dragon Ball, but I know it's a big deal, and clearly that is still a show that goes on. And I know that's very beloved by a lot of people. Justice League Unlimited, another amazing action cartoon. Hopefully Justice League Action brings back that whole action cartoon sense, and I'm very excited for that. We'll see where that goes. I'll probably do a whole other animation block on some other predictions I have for Justice League Action. Kim Possible, one of the classic Disney cartoons, and man oh man, the good old days, right? That was just it was able to balance so much, and it really pulled through. I think that's a beloved cartoon by many people, young and old, and it definitely had that action element to it. We had Naruto, again, something very similar to Dragon Ball Z. I was not able to get into it, but I know there's a big following for it. I have seen a few episodes. It's very much in that same style of action cartoon, and of course, one of my favorite Marvel animated shows of all time, maybe one of my favorite animated shows of all time, Wolverine and the X-Men. If you have not seen this, it is phenomenal. I cannot stress it enough. If maybe it's not as good as the 90s X-Men, but it's a close second. It is a great cohesive story, and that's what I miss. So my main point here with Mighty Magiswords is really that, in a sense, at Mighty Magiswords' core, even though it's got the goofy humor sometimes, and it's got the goofy faces sometimes, and it's got your weird dragon cartoons, guys, right? At its core, it's an action cartoon. When you hear the guy go, Dolphin Magisword, or Pencil Magisword, and then you see them actually use it. Again, it's not like a full-blown action cartoon, but it has that style, and I think currently that is maybe one of the closest things on Cartoon Network that we really can get to an action cartoon, which I love action cartoons. I'm an action type of guy. That's my stuff, man. I love action cartoons. So to me, it's a bit of both. It's the best of both worlds, right? You've got the nice goofy type humor, and then you also have this amazing kind of action sense. And hopefully when they expand into these quarter minute hours, whatever, these shorts, or these full-length episodes instead of the shorts, that we'll actually see that action element expanded. I'm really hoping that's where they go. Action cartoons are great, and I think we need to see more of them, and hopefully Mighty Magiswords maybe can twist Cartoon Network's arm. We'll see what happens. Also, if you are a fan of the miniseries on Cartoon Network, maybe this is a sign that if they're popular enough, we will see them. Maybe this is a sign that we'll see more of them in the future, so adapted into a live series. So we'll see where that goes. And I think right now we're going to transition into our next topic of Milo Murphy's Law. I'm just going to grab a quick sip of water, let you guys kind of think about that. I don't know. Mighty Magisword seems cool. We'll see where that goes. Just one sec, guys. Wait, one more. Oh, that's good. What is this? That's Ice Mountain-tastic right there. That is ice. That's Ice Mountain-tastic. If you like Ice Mountain water or any kind of water, I hope you're gonna go buy some Ice Mountain, because it's good. You gotta do that. That's my little commercial for Ice Mountain water. Thank you. I better be getting some money from Ice Mountain in the mountains. Yeah. All right, Milo Murphy's Law. Here we go. So, some of you guys have probably heard of Milo Murphy's Law. I hope so. It's a show that I think has a lot of hype as of now. It is from the creators of Phineas and Ferb, which that's kind of why it has a lot of hype now. It's got a phenomenal cast, and we're going to run through that cast in a moment. There's no really big point here, other than the fact that I just want to talk about Milo Murphy's Law and my predictions for this show, because I think this is a show that has the potential to be another Disney Channel and Disney XD classic. You know, I think some of the more modern Disney and Disney XD classics go along with, like, Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls. I don't know. Those are probably the two biggest ones. I guess maybe, I don't know. I kind of want to say Wander Over Yonder, but I don't really care for that show. I know it's popular. I think biggest ones right now, I think, are Phineas and Ferb, which has ended, and Gravity Falls, which has ended. So I'm hoping Milo Murphy's Law kind of becomes that new one, that next one that gets me excited a little bit. So the basic gist of it is basically there's this kid, Milo, and he's a descendant from Murphy's Law, or I guess maybe his name is Milo Murphy. I have no idea. I think it's Milo Murphy, but we'll see. I don't know. It's too confusing to know right now. It is Milo Murphy. I just checked the cast. It's Milo Murphy. He's a descendant from Murphy in the sense of Murphy's Law. Now, you guys all know Murphy's Law. You know, it's basically just stating that everything's bound to go wrong. So it seems like this kid's going to have a lot of bad luck. And we'll see where that goes. I think it could make for some interesting stories, but I'm hoping it has a bit of that type of gimmick like Phineas and Ferb did. Like, they'd build a new invention every day. I hope there's a type of gimmick like that to make every episode kind of interesting and have every episode have its own contained plot, but at the same time have it all kind of be coherent in a sense that it all makes sense. Like the 104 Days of Summer Vacation, it made sense. Every day, every episode, it was like a different day, and they were building a new invention, and they were having, you know, it made sense. So I'm hoping Milo Murphy's Law does that. Now, supposedly it's going to be a school environment. I believe they've cast a principal. Yes, Principal Midler. It's Mackenzie Phillips is playing that. I don't know. I'm going to run through the cast in a moment. But here's the other big news. The Milo Murphy, he lives a couple cities over, suburbs over from Phineas and Ferb. So that's awesome. This is in the same universe as Phineas and Ferb. That's really cool. That's really cool. So that leads me to believe that maybe we could possibly be seeing some Dr. Doofenshmirtz pop up here and there. Maybe some Perry the Platypus. Maybe we see some Major Monogram. Maybe we see some Carl. I wouldn't bet anything on Phineas or Ferb, but they could do some really big crossover because everybody loves Phineas and Ferb. It's a very beloved show. Went on for like 8 years. And I really do think that there's potential to have a cool crossover. You got to sell us on Milo first. So Weird Al Yankovic is playing Milo Murphy, just phenomenal. I mean, everyone loves Weird Al Yankovic. He's just so much fun, and I think he's going to bring a lot of interesting ideas to this world. I'm very happy that he signed on to be this main character. Christian Slater, one of my favorite actors, and he's in one of my all-time favorite shows, Mr. Robot, which you guys should be watching. Maybe if you're a little kid. If you're a little kid, don't. If you're watching this and you're a little kid, don't. But if you're an adult or a teen or whatever, watch that show. It's good. It's a good one. And it seems like he's playing he's playing Milo's good friend Elliot. His name's Elliot Decker. Vanessa L. Williams is playing Eileen Underwood. Seems like another good friend of Milo. So we'll see where that goes. Then we have Sarah Chalk, I believe, as Mrs. Morawski. So, again, we haven't seen pictures, we haven't really got too much of a synopsis, really even a trailer yet, which leads me to believe where this show is going to be premiering in, like, October or November, because there's too little information right now for us to see this show in September. So I'm not really sure. It could be a teacher, it could be a neighbor. This is where it gets interesting. Jermaine Clement, who I hope you guys all know, Jermaine Clement, that is Boris the Animal from Men in Black 3. He's a great voice actor. He's a great actor in general. He does a lot of fun stuff. He was just in a movie recently as a voice. I want to say it's Finding Dory. I kind of want to say he played one of the seals. Kind of want to say that. I can't pull it off the top of my head. I might look that up later and I'll come back to that. Great actor. Okay, that's the point here. Does a lot of great voices, and he's playing a character known as Dr. Zone. Now, that name in itself reminds me of Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Is this some possibly connection here? Is Dr. Zone in that same, like, what is it called, Love Muffin with that evil organization called Love Muffin with Dr. Doofenshmirtz? I can't know. I don't know. But it gets me excited because I'm pretty sure your regular everyday dentist isn't named Dr. Zone. Maybe it is, and good for you, and good for whoever's last name is Zone. That's a cool last name, but here it kind of seems like in the context of everything, it's a bit like an evil scientist of sorts, maybe, or just a regular scientist. We'll see. Like I said, Mackenzie Phillips is playing Principal Midler. Chrissy Fit, I think you guys know Chrissy Fit. I'm pretty sure she was in that, what's it called? Teen Beach Movie and 2. Both of those. I think those are the Disney Channel home releases or something like that. I know it's kind of like, is that like the new High School? I'm pretty sure it's like the new High School Musical. Whatever, I don't really care. But I know she is familiar with the Disney family. So she is playing Amanda Lopez. Again, I don't know too much about the character, but I'm glad that they're getting, Disney Channel alums to kind of come here and do voices. I think that really works out well. And the big name here, Vincent Martell, is playing Bradley Nicholson. Now, Vincent Martell, if you guys don't know, he voiced Phineas in the, Phineas and Ferb show. So they're getting back their original cast, Dave Pavamere and Dan Swampy Marsh. So they're getting back the creators, they're getting back their original cast. So very cool. Dietrich Bader is playing Martin Murphy. That sounds like Milo's dad or brother or something like that. Pamela Adlum is playing Bridget Murphy. So those two guys seem like they're his parents. Kate Micucci, I think, is playing Sarah Murphy. Sounds like a sister. We'll see if she's a Candace type character, maybe a younger sister. I've got no clue. D. Bradley Baker is playing Diogi. I mean, no, I have no clue what a Diogi is. Maybe it's a Perry the Platypus type character. Greg Sipes is playing Mort Schaffer. Schaefer. Michael Colrose Jr. is playing Kyle Draco. I don't know the pronunciations right here. None of these names really sound too big to me, but they made the list. Maybe they're his friends, maybe they're classmates, schoolmates, something, neighbors, something like that. Kevin Michael Richardson is playing Coach Nolan Mitchell, so he seems to be the coach. That's kind of pretty given. Here's another big name. Sabrina Carpenter is playing Melissa Chase. Now, Sabrina Carpenter, she's on one of the main characters on Girl Meets World. I'm a Boy Meets World fan. I used to watch that show when I was little. So, of course, I check out Girl Meets World. It's actually not terrible. It's not terrible. But I know she's a big Disney Channel person, so... Yeah, I mean, they're doing some more Disney alums. Fine, sounds cool. I think that's a big name. I think it's going to draw in a lot of fans of hers, I think. Makai Curtis is playing Zach Underwood. And then here are the two other big names. Dan Pavamir is playing Vinny Dakota. That's one of the creators of the show. I think he voiced Dr. Doofenshmirtz, too. And then, of course, Jeff Swampy Marsh, he's playing Balthazar Cavendish. Now, that kind of sounds like a villain or some sort of fancy asshole. So we'll see where that goes. I'm kind of excited. And then, of course, Jeff Swampy Marsh voiced Major Monogram or Brow or whatever. I think it was Major Monogram in Phineas and Ferb. So big cast there. The plot, like I said, there's not too much there, but we got our official logo, I believe, last week. So they seem like they're starting to release some stuff. It's supposedly coming this fall. I can't tell you guys when because I don't know. It's expected either really late September. But most likely probably October or November. That's probably when we're going to get it. Maybe around Thanksgiving time. I don't know right now. But all I can say is that I'm hoping that this becomes a new Disney-type classic. I think that's what Disney needs. You know, they've got Star vs. Forces of Evil, and got your Descendants Wicked World, and what else do you have? Your whatever. You know, I don't know too many of the Star Wars Disney XD cartoons, but I think this could be a good one. I believe this is exclusively coming to Disney XD. It might be, making some appearances on Disney Channel eventually. We'll see. I'll let you guys know when we get some more of those details. And we're going to move on to our final topic of the night. It was just revealed last week that Rocko's Modern Life will be returning to Nickelodeon for a TV movie. Just one sec, guys. All right. Too much talking there, right? My throat's getting a little dry, but let's talk about some Rocko's Modern Life. So this is a beloved, and I mean beloved, Nickelodeon 90s cartoon. One of the big four. I don't think I was really around at the time when it came out. I may have been a little bit too young. So I don't really remember watching this live. I do remember watching reruns of it, and I still watch some reruns here and there because I love cartoons. This is a big deal for a lot of fans because, Nickelodeon's, or at least the Nicktoon shows, they're kind of been not thrown in the trash because everyone loves them, but they've kind of been pushed underground and buried a bit because Nickelodeon seems like they're trying to... I don't know. Nickelodeon doesn't have a lot of big shows. They've got this new show called The Loud House. They still have SpongeBob. They've got, Breadwinners. I don't even know if that's still on. But the bottom line here is that Nickelodeon hasn't had a really big hit with a cartoon show since I'd say probably SpongeBob. They may have had a couple of hits here and there, but nothing to, whew. So, the bottom line here is that they're bringing this back for a TV movie. The original creators coming back to do it, and I'm very excited by that because the whole idea of Rocko's Modern Life is just modern day problems. Modern day. Got to get the laundry done, but kind of in this kind of crazy, kind of weird sense. So you had the 90s modern problems. Now you've got the 2016, 2017 modern problems. Those are so different now. The times have changed so much. So for me here, I'm actually very intrigued by this. But I'm very much hoping that the original cast comes back to do it. I know a lot of people are. We haven't really heard too much other news other than the fact that it was just greenlit for a TV movie and that the original creators coming back to do it. So hey, the more the merrier. I'd love to see the original cast come back. I think that'd be very interesting. But that's not even the big thing here. We're going to be talking about shows from the 90s, or at least the last 10 years, maybe even more, 15 years, that are gone off the air, possibly maybe now getting a resurgence. And that all could start from Rocko's Modern Life. Now, I'm pretty sure Rocko's Modern Life, this whole idea of the TV movie, it's a test. And why is it a test? Well, Nickelodeon is thinking, hey, we're getting our live action stuff done. We've got our Henry Dangers, we've got our Game Shaker shit, Game Shaker's crap, or Game Shaker's stuff. Sorry, I want to keep this PG. And we've got our Thundermans and what else do they have? Bell and the Bulldogs. Yeah, that's right. I know my Nickelodeon shows, and so they got their live action stuff, but they might be failing a bit in their cartoons. I know they've got a couple big ones, but I don't think anything too significant. Nothing, to the point where it's huge stuff, except for, I think, SpongeBob. I'm going to look that up right now. But here's the bottom line. I think they're trying to test. I think they're going to be testing. They're going to be testing Rocko's Modern Life to see if it works with a newer, younger audience, to then possibly bring back something like the Rugrats, to possibly bring back something, I don't know, a bit more like Hey Arnold, or you guys know what I'm saying, Doug. Except I know Disney kind of has some weird rights thing with Doug, but my bottom line here is that I think it's going to be a test, and I'm pretty excited. So here, I'm looking this up now. See, not them, all the old animated shows come up. They've got Ninja Turtles, I guess, and they still have the Fairly Odd Parents. I know a lot of people aren't happy with that. But look, I'm serious. I'm looking this up right now, and barely anything is coming up for any new shows. So that's my point here. Nickelodeon needs this. They need Rocko's Modern Life to be good, this TV show to be good, the TV movie to be good. I think it will be, especially if the original creator's coming back to do it. But, I think the bottom line is it's going to be a test. So what shows could I see coming back? Well, Rugrats is number one. They've tried to bring back the Rugrats a bunch of times. They did All Grown Up. But I absolutely love the Rugrats. Everyone loves the Rugrats. And they have such a clever way of increasing the amount of adult humor into a show about babies. And it's crazy. And it worked so well. So I think, again, a modern take on the Rugrats could be interesting. But here now, let's look at the past idea of reboots. Now, I think the best example of this, there's two great examples. And the first one, it's gonna be Teen Titans Go. Again, I'm not that's a Cartoon Network show, I get it, but it's not been the success. A lot of people hate that show. I don't hate it. I don't love it as much as the original Teen Titans. Here's another example, the Powerpuff Girls. A lot of people hate that show. The new one, at least. Everyone loves the original Powerpuff Girls. Reboots don't always work. They don't. So I think the way you either do it is you continue with sequels, or you reboot it with the same original team that was behind it in the first place, and you make it the same way it was. You don't try to modernize it too much. That's probably the biggest issue with the Powerpuff Girls and the Teen Titans Go. They try to modernize it so much and create these really dumb stories that don't have any relevance, and that's not what everyone loved in the past. So you bring back everything that was there in the first place, and you just do it again. You replicate it, because if it ain't broke, why try to fix it? You know what I'm saying? Powerpuff Girls isn't broken. It's just been off the air for a while. Why try to reinvent it? So Rocko's Modern Life, make it modern, yeah, but make it in a sense that it's the same thing that we all loved in the first place, or at least the hardcore fans. I still love it, but not as much as I don't think some other people. So again, I think Rugrats is definitely up there. Hey Arnold, for sure up there. Ren Stimpy, probably Cat Dog. I think everyone wants to see Cat Dog. I love Cat Dog. That was one I watched a bunch of times. I mean, those are probably the biggest ones. They probably are. I mean, you have Real Monsters, maybe. So I'm just getting some ideas here. The Angry Beavers, I could see maybe. But this also brings up a question. There's amazing cartoon or Nickelodeon shows like Drake and Josh. I mean, yeah, it's a kid show, but at the same time, it's not. It's a hilarious show. Maybe we see a TV movie of that. Maybe this is just a test in general. Now, what gets me excited by this, by the idea of just not just the original Nicktoons possibly all coming back, starting with Rocko's Modern Life, but what about other cartoons from like Disney XD, from Disney Channel, from, I don't know, Cartoon Network. I think some of the best cartoons came from Cartoon Network. The Grim Life of Billy and Mandy. What if we saw something like that, right? That'd be pretty amazing. And I'm going to have to throw this out there. Total Drama. That is one of my favorite all-time animated shows ever, okay? I love that. I can watch every episode again and again and again and again and again. And I loved it last year when they brought in Total Drama Presents The Redonkulous Race. We did a bunch of reviews on this channel. I had so much fun with that. But they haven't announced anything new. So my thing here is that we don't know if they're going to be doing a season 2 for Redonkulous Race, and we sure as hell don't know if they're going to be doing a season 8 for Total Drama in itself, is with Chris. So I'm really thinking that this whole idea of, if this is successful, which I really want it to be, just for Nickelodeon, but I think this could also be a set model for other networks, and that's going to be huge. Maybe it's a revival on Netflix, something. I'm not just talking Total Drama now. I'm talking anything. These shows that everyone loves, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It doesn't need to be fixed if it's not broken. So bring back the original teams and make some money. I think Nickelodeon wants to make more money. I think Disney XD and Disney Channel wants to make more money. Bring back Kim Possible, but in the right way. Don't just shoehorn it in there. There's ways to do it. And it starts with the original creators. It starts with the ideas from the beginning, things that we have never even got to see on screen. There's just a lot of love there, I think, personally. And maybe I'm wrong. You can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Maybe certain shows don't need reboots or sequels, but, for those of us who really love these shows, I definitely think that there's a chance that if you really get that word out there, if you really, really hope and think and wonder and wait, that maybe eventually you will get that. And that seems to really be the thing nowadays. Did we ever think we'd be getting a female Ghostbusters movie? No. Did we ever think we'd be getting the Independence Day resurgence? No, I heard that was terrible. But, it's like, did we ever think we'd be getting the Terminator, a new Terminator, and all these new movies, and, all these films that came out years and years and years ago are now kind of coming back. That's kind of how I feel like cartoons will be eventually, if not soon. Expect at least the next 5 years to see a bunch of your favorite cartoons come back, and if not that, well, then I must be just talking about nothing right now, because really, there's something here. Nickelodeon didn't just do this because they're just spontaneous. They didn't just do this spontaneously because they're like, yeah, all right, finally, let's just do that Rocko's Modern Life TV movie. That's not what they have plans, they have agendas. I bet all these studios are just kind of looking at this Rocko's Modern Life. I'm very excited for this. I'll probably be doing a review of it, so let me know in the comments your thoughts on that. Those are our 3 big topics for today, and just before we go, we're going to do our Spotlight series of the week. Now, I might get some negative comments in the comments here. But I'm gonna have to say, you can laugh. I'll laugh too with you guys. But a show to look out for right now. It's a bit of a mini series, and that is DC's Superhero Girls. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that doll company or something like that that's produced by DC? I don't know. I think they make dolls of it, and that's fine. But here's the thing. I checked this out. For why? Well, really because I wanted to see if it was any good and if it was worth even bringing up on this podcast. To my surprise, I'm not going to say it was great, because it's not like your DC Comics, but it has something there. I'm going to talk about what's there. So, why should you look out for this? Well, number one, if you've got a daughter, or if you're a girl in general, even if you're not a girl, even if you're a guy, you can really, really see that this is a show that's trying to create role models. They're taking villains like Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, even Katana, even other villains like Gorilla Grodd, making him the vice principal. They're taking that and they're trying to create role models out of that, and I really respect that. That's one. Two, the story, it's decent. It's not great. It's an okay concept. The DC superhero girls and some young heroes, some of them like Flash and Green Lantern, for some reason they all Rocko, and they all hang out in this high school area thing, and they get trained with their powers by Wildcat and all of them. It's an okay story. The villains themselves aren't great. It has a lot of that humorous type goofy stuff, but to me, I really didn't find it as unbearable as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was something that I could just maybe watch every now and then to just kind of find Easter eggs, like, oh my god, there's Beast Boy, or oh my god, that's Cyborg, or that's Catwoman, and I appreciated the animation style for the most part. And again, I just think it's a good thing for role models for little girls, even little boys, even just older people. So I think it's something to at least check out. If you're a DC Comics fan, I think you'll just have fun pointing out the different characters. And if you're not, if you're looking for something animation, I think it's a nice kind of different change. It has more of a plot to it than Teen Titans Go, and that's hard to believe, isn't it? So I think at least check it out. But that's definitely going to be our Spotlight series for the week. And I think that's going to pretty much do it for us on this podcast for the Animation Block. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back next week. And I'm also looking for a new co-host. So if you're interested, let me know in any way, shape, or form. I will be very happy to have some guests on here. And we'll also be taking questions next week. So if you have questions or comments, let us know. Thank you guys so much again. And let us know in the comments all about what you're thinking about all these big topics. Mighty Magiswords and action cartoons, and Milo Murphy's Law versus Phineas and Ferb and all that, and the same universe, and even Rocko's Modern Life and rebooting cartoons, how that's going to work. And will you check out DC Superhero Girls? Let me know. Thanks so much. And I'm Ryder from the Big Bang Network and my solo channel, Infinite Attitude. You can find me on Twitter at ToyWithAttitude. Also, you can find me on Infinite Attitude, my main channel. And I'm going to be here much more now on the Big Bang Network with Jason. Yes, I almost called him his fake name, Bryce, but he is Jason Grayson, and we've been having a great time. We're at if you're a big fan of Polymorphicon, it's ending today, so be here tonight. I'm gonna be on the Super Rangers podcast with Bryce. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. I'm Ryder, and I'll hopefully see you guys next week. Thanks for watching the Animation Block.